I'm so upset about this Imagine Mrs. Timkins.
Yeah, but she's based on a real person, isn't she?
Well, she's based on a sort of generic type, you know, that...
Let's get her in.
Yeah. Are you Mrs. Timkins? Mrs. Timkins now, I think, is going to embody everything I ever hate. I'm going to just project onto Mrs. Timkins all my hatreds and
Is that a
loathings.
euphemism? No, it's not.
I don't know what you mean. No. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, earlier we were talking about, things you've splurted out, things you've said by mistake that you wish you could have taken back, such as my hatred of Mrs. Timkins. And Harry, you've got some more?
Yeah, Matt in South Wales, when he was 8, his cat got run over, and on hearing this, his next door neighbour, in an attempt to sympathise, said, "Oh, I'm very sorry that your cat's died." Matt thought this was an apology for killing it and smeared cat poo on her door handles. only later in life did he understand what actually had happened, and he felt a little bit guilty about it.
Did he confess up about the...
I don't think so.
That's horrific. What a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, and Dave's emailed in. A few years ago at a club, he bumped into the lead singer from a very famous new romantic era British pop band. He spent a few garbled seconds telling him that Rio, Hungry Like the Wolf, Planet Earth and Sabre Prayer were amongst his favourite singles of all time. He smiled and nodded, gave the autograph, and his friend kindly pulled him away. Naturally, he was then informed that he'd been talking to Tony Spandau Hadley all the way through.
That's a stinker.
What a blunder.
I tell you this, it's interesting because I'm often, occasionally in my work, I meet famous people, and anyone I really admire, I'm terribly embarrassed by. I find myself unable to speak coherently, but worse than that, I feel the effort to sort of somehow mark myself out from the usual fans that come up by saying something sort of irrationally curt or rude or unnecessary, like as though I want to say, well, you know, I'm just a regular guy, I've got strong opinions on things, you know, and I'm not just a fawning fan. I remember I met Jamie Oliver. I think Jamie Oliver's brilliant, I love him, and I said to him, I always make any recipes, Jamie. He went, oh, thanks very much. I said, thing is, there's too much salt in them. It's just full of salt, Jamie. He looked at me like stunned and just went, well, no, I always put salt to taste. I went, I don't think you do, mate. Pretty certain you don't. He went, no, in the books it always says, add salt to this. I went, I'm not sure it does. All I'm saying is, find them a bit salty. Went home, looked in the books. Of course it says add salt to taste in every single recipe. But I don't know what it was, because I think I was just trying to seem conversational, you know, because obviously I'm adding too much salt to my dinners, and I'm blaming them on him.
Why are you over-salting?
I don't know why I'm over-salting. It's a textbook error.
If you don't put on enough, you can always put some more on afterwards.
I know, it's a mistake.
It's probably raised your blood pressure, which is why you hate Mrs. Timkins.
Exactly. Let's have some gold for it, then we'll chat to one of the listeners. Yeah. You see, without the pioneering work of New Order, would you be nodding your head along to Goldfrapp and Utopia, Jude? I fear not. Alright?
Well, that'd be a loss, wouldn't it?
Ooh. You see, he has to go at me in my hatred of Mrs. Timkins. He's just slammed Alison Goldfrapp.
I'm going to add to the list, Harry makes me irrationally angry.
Oh dear.
I don't think it's irrational. There you go.
I've misjudged the mood of the room.
You have entirely.
Tough crowd.
It really is. Okay, so the Steve Show, of course, is not just about mindless chatter, it's also about new music. It's all about music. And, of course, the policy of the Steve Show is that new music is not necessarily music that's yet to be released or just been released. It's songs, music that you've not yet heard or that's unfamiliar to you. That, of course, is new music. And you, the listeners, can get in touch via the website and contribute songs to the show, which is something that Matthew from Sunderland has, I believe, done. Matthew, there?
Hello.
Hello, mate. All right, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Now, you are from, or you live in Sunderland?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that the north?
Northeast, yeah.
Okay, now I don't know anything about the north, so I'm going to pass you over to Sammy. She loves the north, but clearly not Sunderland. She's lowered her head there and she's booed it. She's booed at Sunderland.
She'll be from Newcastle, I guess.
Yeah, very much so. Born in Newcastle, in sight of Newcastle, and therefore have also been born with an ingrown hate of Sunderland.
I don't understand. You see, I don't know anything about this stuff. So is this these two towns, they hate each other?
Well, they're Mackhams and they're useless and
they're what?
They stink.
They're what?
Yeah.
They're what? They're Mackhams?
Mackhams?
What does that mean?
They mack them and someone else attacks them. It's their accent. It's slightly different ours. Like they say, "We's keys," as in whose keys are these? It's slightly different accent. It's not massively different.
See, I can't tell the difference. To me, it just all sounds like a big blur of north.
But how you'd know this, Matthew? People in Sunderland do refer to themselves as Mackhams, don't they? As I'd refer to myself as a Geordie.
Yeah.
There you go.
Matthew, do you hate Sammy and everything she stands for?
I don't hate Sammy as such, no.
But you do hate all Newcastleians?
Not all of them, just most of them.
Is this born from sort of football rivalry? Where does it come from?
Yeah.
Is it football rivalry?
The derbies are dangerous. When it's Sunderland versus Newcastle, you've got to stay in.
Wow. Really? Have you ever got into a fight, Matthew? Are you a sort of...
I've my way out of fights.
You're a wallflower. You're sort of a bit like me. You just run away, do you? Let someone else deal with it.
Exactly, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I just pretend I'm a girl and run away.
I don't pretend I'm a girl, like the...
Well, you should. It's fun. It's fun. You know, you got your mum's. You know, if your mum's out, you know, you've got the wardrobe. Just open that, see what's in there. Pop on a little skirt, just a little skirt. You know, see how it is. Just pop on a little skirt, see how it works.
Have a little dance around.
Just have a little dance around in your bra and your pants to see how it works for you. All right, nothing wrong with that. What's the? Shut up, Jude. I'm trying to talk to Matthew from Sunderland. What's your story? What are you all about? It's a difficult question to answer, that, isn't it? It's a tough one to answer.
It's not really a question, really. But,
it's not really a question at all. So, are you a student? Are you working?
No, I work full time.
Okay, what do you do?
I'm a design engineer.
Design engineer? Ooh, sounds posh. Do you design anything useful and important?
Not really. Air conditioning units, stuff like that.
Air conditioning units, I would say they're very useful in these hot summers, and particularly, of course, with the advent of global warming. That's going to make all the difference to you. You are going to be coining it in. All right, well done.
Not me personally, but
well, someone you work for, someone you design for. Thanks to all of us slightly older people who've been using, hairsprays during the 80s. You are going to be coining it in. Well done. And do you also play music? Are you involved with music? Do you DJ?
I'm in a band, yes.
Are you in a band?
North East, yeah.
What's the name of the band?
Catch Pennies.
Okay, should we plug you? Are you any good?
You can plug us all you like, yes. We're on MySpace. www.myspace.com/The Catch Pennies.
What kind of music is it, quickly?
It's like indie/electro/folk.
Indie electro folk. It sounds right up my street. I'm looking forward to catching the Catch Pennies. And so, what tune have you chosen for us?
I've chosen the Maccabees' First Love.
Any particular reason?
I just really like the song, really like the band, and just want other people to listen to it.
All right, let's hear the Maccabees' First Love. We'll come back to you. We'll talk to you in a second, Matthew.
Cool.
Good luck. First Love from the Maccabees, the choice of Matthew in Sunderland. Matt, you still there?
I'm still there, yeah.
Have you ever blurted out something that you wish you could take back, such as you should try on your mum's clothes?
Well, we were at a gig once in Barnsley, and obviously a little bit of banter during the songs and that. And I thought it was a good idea to get on the mic and say, well, Barnsley finished this year in the league, and it was the year that Barnsley got relegated, and that went down an absolute treat.
Okay. You want to perfect your in-between song banter if you're going to get the Catch Pennies to the very top of the tree.
No, I mean, my mate Gav was like behind me going, they got relegated. Shut up, man. It was quite embarrassing.
See, I don't understand football, so I understand the game, I understand how it works, but I don't understand this irrational love and hatred of football and how it can make people so passionate. But all I know is you never talk about people's football teams. It's textbook.
No, exactly, yeah.
Never talk about religion, politics, or football teams. Alright, little word of wisdom from Steve, your Uncle Steve. Your creepy Uncle Steve. Alright, Matt, listen, I really appreciate you getting in touch. Thank you so much. We enjoyed the tune.
Problem.
Thank you, mate.
Bye.
If you want to contribute a song to the show, then you can go on the website, and it's on the Six Music website, and you press some buttons, and you can contribute a song. From the new Iron and Wine album, The Shepherd's Dog, that is the track The Devil Never Sleeps. It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, and we've not really had a chance to catch up with these guys who have been so busy talking about other nonsense. Sammy, I've been so rude, I've not even asked you how your week's been. I want to obviously quickly find out how the photography class is going.
It's very sad. The nervous man has finally dropped something. The course.
He's dropped the course.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. We were hoping that his catchphrase, "Don't give it to me, I'll only drop it," will sweep the nation. But what a great shame that we're never going to hear that again.
No.
So he's obviously got so panicky at the thought of, I wonder what else he ventures on. I wonder if he goes on to different lessons, different subjects, you know, and...
I don't know what's going to be of an apt level for him. Not to... I was trying to think of different classes
cushion making, cushion holding class.
Mime, perhaps.
Mime, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice, yeah.
And bizarrely, now this is actually upset me all week, or made me ponder all week. The slightly eccentric fellow.
The tramp.
Yep. You said it, I didn't.
Yeah.
This time. Came up to me on Tuesday and said, "Hello, what's your name?" And I was like, "Oh, that's nice. My name's Sammy. What's yours?" And he said his name, and then smiled at me and walked away. And I thought, that was, it was nice. It was friendly. Introduced himself, but he looked at me a little bit too long. And then I thought, on the radio last Sunday, I said, "Do you know what? I don't even know his name. I think he listens."
Well, what kind of hobo is he's got a digital radio?
This is what's making me think more and more he's an eccentric.
He might hang around in Dixon's.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
He could have stolen a computer from a tip, got it working, got on the internet, and listened online.
Sure, yeah.
Possible.
Yes,
So he's found a
because he lives
laptop.
in the Beano, where such things are possible. Where would he plug it in, Daniel? You've not thought this through at all.
Well, he's rigged up some sort of clockwork internet
A
connection.
fellow
yeah.
tramp is just cycling furiously.
I was going to say
all
it's an
over the place.
exercise bike, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well, let's say hello to him. We should have tramp news. What's hot in the world of tramps? You know, what tips are easy access late at night if you need to scavenge for computers or other electrical equipment. It's a whole new feature. All right, here's the news from the album "Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me." Of course, that's The Cure and "Why Can't I Be You." It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, with me, Stephen Merchant, and my crone is Tiny Tiny Dan.
Hello.
We've got Harry, he's a banker. Sammy from the north, and Jude pressing the buttons, clinically insane. And you're welcome, very welcome to the show. It's the last half hour, obviously. In fact, we've had a good chunk of that already, so I ought to not talk as much and play more music. Although we were trying to collate earlier things you've said, you've blurted out, which you wish you could have taken back. And I remember one that I did, which, you know, I mentioned earlier about my problem with meeting celebrities, particularly people I admire enormously.
Yeah.
I feel this urge to just seem sort of a bit rude, a bit naughty, a bit edgy with them. So it's sort of, you know, I'm joking around like I'm a peer and not a fan, so that they don't think I'm just some kind of fawning sycophant. And I remember the first time I ever met Steve Coogan, who I adore. I think he's amazing. Obviously, Partridge, fantastic. Saxondale, I think, is amazing. I love what he does. But I'd just seen that film he did, The Parole Officer, which I was not a huge fan of. I just thought it was a little bit of a disappointment because I was expecting, you know, something like Partridge. So it was great. Not a bad film, but I just was slightly disappointed. And so I was walking along the road with my erstwhile colleague R. Gervais, and saw Coogan getting away, and I thought, oh, great, Steve Coogan. Oh no, I thought, oh my god, mustn't mention The Parole Officer. Do not mention the film The Parole Officer. You've seen it, it's a little bit of a disappointment. Just keep thinking about all the great things he's done. Don't mention that one that you thought was slightly below par. And so he came up and he's chatting away, and we're like, a mutual kind of backslapping. And he went, oh, I'll tell you, I love your guys' writing. If my career is ever on the slide, you know, then you should get in touch. And I went, well, we better get in touch.
Ridiculous.
Just straight out, like a kind of like a verbal diarrhea. You better get in touch now then. Thus implying his career was on the skids, right? Just because I was thinking about the parole officer and trying not to mention it. Didn't mention it, but consequently made it even more offensive and more. Of course,
did he get in touch?
Well, he sort of kind of acknowledged this, and Ricky obviously looked at me like, "Careful, what you're doing." and then I just, and we sort of carried on chatting, but you could tell there was something had happened to the conversation. It was not going to continue as it was, and then he sort of looked at me, kind of midway through, and he just went, "Sorry, what do you mean?" And I went, "Sorry, no, I was just joking, I was just being flippant." And the whole thing just sort of ended in kind of an awkwardness, a sort of muddy awkwardness, conversational awkwardness, and I don't think I've ever really seen him since. And
He fled to America.
He fled to America. So fearful was he of my vitriol. But you can see how easy it is. You know, again, that was done from love. It was fear born out of love that caused me to upset one of my comedy heroes. So you can see how easy it is. But maybe we'll add that to the list. Tiny Dan. It's your choice of tune.
Yes, yeah, amazing that I get a whole song despite being so small.
Yes, that's nice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, a bit of soul, Steve. Not enough soul on the show, so
Yeah.
I'm going to bring a bit of soul into this. I'm not going to say too much about it. It's by Reuben Bell. It's super jock, but I think you'll enjoy the lyrics, which are basically a eulogy to the fantabulous DJ.
It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, and I can't even bother to say that anymore. You know, it's just been in it. It's just and that was the choice of Dan on this week's show. And what was the artist then?
Reuben Bell.
Is that kind of contemporary soul or is it old school?
That's old school, that one. Not new school, done to sound old school. Actual old school.
If I like music like that, where would I find it?
That one, you wouldn't have too much trouble tracking it down were you to download it legally via any one of the many legal download sites
Yes.
out there. Let's not favour anyone over another.
Please
But if you wanted to find it on a record, it might not be so easy. It's on a few slightly obscure compilations.
Thank you very much indeed for that. I'd like to have seen perhaps a bit more research. You know, you never know how I'm going to... I might well throw questions like that at you, Dan.
No.
You need to be prepared, mate.
Well,
All right? It's just not an easy ride.